Our world is full of evil, but you must always remain human. That's the grandfather. Sorry. It looks like you gave me this quest for the wrong build altogether. It's been a year since I've been thrown into this world without warning, without a loading screen, without training, without a character creation menu, simply bang. It's like the truck isn't killing you, but sending you into another dimension. Okay. The game world? Accepted. A fantasy where people die faster than extras in the first season of Game of Thrones? Also accepted. I wasn't made an archmage, a hero, a holy swordsman, or at least a normal mercenary. Okay? Was they even dropped off at the edge of the continent? Well, I survived that too, but here's what I still can't digest. Why? Exactly. The Dark Knight? No, seriously. Of all possible classes, I got a profession where half the population wants to burn you before you even meet them. And technically, I'm human. But only technically. The carriage is shaking as if the coachman has decided to test whether the passengers will stand the test of strength. There are so many people that if someone sneezes, 15 people will receive the blessing at once. And yet there are 2 free islands inside. The first, near the priestess's young apprentice. The girl beams with a smile and begins to read a sermon. Follow the light. Passengers are listening so attentively, as if a free subscription to paradise is being issued right now. Life is hard for everyone. Therefore, they cling to any hope with both hands. After the sermon, the queue of questions immediately begins. My husband died fighting demons. Isn't he in heaven now? The girl freezes for a second, an awkward pause. Then he smiles. Of course God is merciful, and it is at this moment that the person who decided today to become the main provocateur of the day is located. Really? The mercenary lazily raises his head. If God is so merciful, why did he let him die in the first place? Well, the heat started. The passengers instantly flare up. How dare you? Apologize, but the mercenary doesn't care at all. It feels like he's feeding off someone else's indignation. I was on the front line. I saw a real war. And you know what? Everyone knows how to talk about the light. But here's something to help. He grins. Can you even show a small miracle? The priestess's student's face turns redder than a tomato. Because, an awkward moment, she's not even a full-fledged priestess, just a student. The mercenary knows this very well, and it hits exactly there. Then suddenly he points somewhere to the side. You're less useful in battle than that Dark Knight over there. All heads turn in unison. And only now it becomes clear why no one dared to sit next to one seat. A man is sitting there calmly. Black armor. A white face. Gray hair. Gray dead eyes. It looks like Death decided to take a vacation and went traveling on her own. And this guy, he polishes his sword calmly. It's like there's no argument around, but rain outside the window. He looks up. He looks at the mercenary, and he continues to clean the blade again. The maximum level of social activity. The mercenary chuckles. Ignore it? Well, okay. But the student is already boiling. Don't you dare compare me to that heretic. And I can't stand the itch. Laughter rips through the carriage. The girl is now literally ready to cast holy retribution. It's just a pity. She hasn't studied it yet. And then the world reminds everyone that this is not a conversational drama. Whoosh! The roof of the carriage is simple. They're filming, without permission, without explanation. Everyone raises their heads. A huge, one-eyed creature with a long tongue is looking down from above. Well, that's great. The trip is getting more interesting. A scream is heard from the front. The coachmen are already finishing up. The mercenary immediately pulls himself together. I'll hold them off. Everyone out. People get out of the carriage faster than the customers during the sale. The monster clicks its tongue. The mercenary catches the blow with his shield. Is that all? And then, I'll help too. He turns around. The priestess's apprentice. Sure. Right now. She puts her hands together. He begins to pray. White light flashes between the fingers. The monster instantly shifts his gaze. The mercenary pales. Are you stupid? Because for the monster, something like this is happening right now. Oh, the flashlight. It must be broken. The monster jumps. The distance disappears in an instant. The mouth opens. The girl freezes. Late. And then boom. The iron fist flies straight into the mouth. The monster even tries to close its teeth. It's a bad idea. His fangs shatter faster than glass under a sledgehammer. The Dark Knight is already here. No pretentious speeches. No shouting. He just starts beating the monster with his bare plate hands. The creature screams. He tries to escape. It doesn't work. A jerk. The skull splits in half. A fountain of blood. Half of the student's face turns red. She stands there in complete shock. And the mercenary laughs. Very loud. That's what I understand. A real Dark Knight. The culprit himself does not react at all. He notices the blood on the girl's face. He takes out a white handkerchief. He holds it out. Dry yourself. It freezes. It doesn't move. The Dark Knight makes a logical conclusion. He doesn't know how. And he starts to wipe himself. Very diligently. There's only one problem. He doesn't wipe the blood. He's smearing it. Now the girl's face resembles a painting of modern art. The mercenary is already literally doubled over with laughter. Sir Dark Knight! That's not how it works at all. The Dark Knight looks at the result. He scratches his head. It seems he was really trying to help. There's more. That's the whole comment. Then he turns around and calmly walks towards the next monsters. The mercenaries immediately follow. My name is Quell. And you? Right now. My name is Dale. Now? A strange answer. But okay, everyone has their own secrets. The fight ends. Half of the people die. The ground is littered with bodies. Quell, he doesn't survive either. Not long ago, this guy was laughing the loudest. Now there are only bloody remains of him. That's the life expectancy here. Dale silently approaches the monster's corpse. He puts his hand into the chest. The blood bursts with black energy. The life force. Soul. Everything is drawn into his body. The mercenaries look on almost with admiration. Him. Consumed the soul. The monster turns into a dried up mummy in seconds. Dale nods inwardly. Not bad. That's enough to raise the rank. Then the gaze falls on the human corpses by itself. The instinct inside immediately whispers, take them too. More power, more energy, more benefits. But the priestess's student appears in front of him. Please, don't touch them. She's shaking, but he doesn't back down, because he wants to bury the dead properly at least. Instinct is pushing again. They're just bodies. And then my grandfather's words come to mind. Stay human. Dale slowly looks away. It doesn't matter. He turns around. Let him bury it. At least let the dead preserve their dignity. The mercenaries exchange glances. This dark night is strange. He doesn't look at all like the monsters of legend. And Dale just stares into the distance. The journey is just beginning. And for some reason, there is a very bad feeling that today's massacre was just a warm-up. The Dark Knight has one special feature. He literally lives between two worlds. Not alive, but not completely dead either. There are two passengers sitting inside at all times. The first one says, help people. The second one responds, eat them after death, a great source of energy. No wonder Dale avoided this class altogether in the game. Sometimes the character is simple. I didn't listen to the player. You press go left, and he's like that. No, I have a personality crisis today. Right now, he gets this class. Karma knows how to joke. Dale automatically puts his hand on his chest. Silence. No heartbeat. Generally, every time the brain is like this, I think I'm dead. Then she remembers. Oh right, it's been a year now. Although there are advantages. Devour, sleep, get tired. Almost unnecessary. The main thing is to refuel with vitality on time. In fact, I became a man on a necromancer diesel. The squad is walking slowly along the road. Dale is carrying a huge backpack for several people at once. I don't even lose my breath. Harkin immediately appears next to me. This guy doesn't know how to keep quiet at all. Listen to me, you're not even sweating. That's right, I'm thinking, can you become a Dark Knight too? Nice try. I don't recommend it. Why? The body is terrible. I'm just kidding. Harkin laughs. Then he makes an extremely eloquent gesture with his hands. They say your senses are generally dulled. Even, well, you understand, brother. You're currently discussing the intimate life of a man who doesn't have a heart. Harkin knows how stupid that sounds. Coughs. He scratches his head. It was awkward, but Dale doesn't even react. To be honest, it takes a lot more to embarrass the Dark Knight. By the way, Harkin comes alive again. My name is Harkin. A normal acquaintance begins. A second-class mercenary. The shield bearer. 5 years at the front. A lot of gossip. Even more stories. Dale nods calmly. This world really works according to the same rules as the game. Classes, promotions, temples. All one-on-one. And you? First class. The Dark Knight. Harkin freezes. Wait a minute, the first one? Yes, that's the balance. The guy who splits monsters in half with his bare hands. Technically a beginner. Sometimes numbers don't mean anything at all. Then Harkin talks non-stop. Politics. The front. Royal scandals. The mercenaries. Rumors. It feels like this person is able to talk even in his sleep. Dale listens to about 20%. The other 80 go to watch the road. Information is a useful thing, even if it is served in the format of an endless podcast. Wait. A familiar voice is heard from behind. Esther. Well, of course. Where to go without her? The rest of the survivors are standing behind. Children. Old people. The wounded. They look like the wind will start blowing them away. Let's go slower. Harkin doesn't even think. No, but we're already late. There are children here. And there are monsters here. An ironclad argument. It's usually hard to argue after that. Then Harkin turns to Dale. Maybe we should leave them all together? Great. The moral test has arrived. Esther looks like she's about to personally send Harkin to hell. How can you? Harkin just snorts. What about it? Are you even human? Nowadays, it's already a luxury. And they both look at Dale. Well, thank you. Now it's up to me to make the decision. If you think logically, they're strangers. Strangers. Ballast. More people will die because of them. The undead instinct gives you an answer right away. Leave it. Briefly, rationally, effectively. But somewhere deep down, a person is still alive. And he answers differently. No. That's why being a Dark Knight is a constant civil war inside your own head. Dale walks over to Esther. She automatically takes a step back. He still remembers the story of the handkerchief. I understand. It's hard to forget. Esther. Yes. Give me a reason. No fancy speeches. No philosophy. Simply, sell me this idea. Esther wants to say good things first. About mercy. About humanity. And he understands it in time. In front of her stands a man who literally feeds on souls. Such arguments don't work. She starts thinking frantically. Money? No. She doesn't have any. He looks around. So do the others. In general, the picture is sad. If you put the cap in a circle now, the maximum amount for a bun will be collected, and then Esther bets on the only thing she has, I will become a priestess. When it happens, I'll help you, always. I swear by my faith. Harkin immediately intervenes. In short, he's grinning. She's offering to pay you in installments, brother. The wording, of course. Esther blushes. That's not what I meant. It sounded exactly like that. Dale is silent, but the calculation is already starting inside. The priests hate the Dark Knights. Every treatment costs like buying a new house. But without a priest, playing with this class is a real masochism. But if Esther would be indebted to him, this is a completely different conversation. Even if she herself is still weak. Through it, you can access the entire Church of Light. It's a good investment. Almost a long-term contribution. I accept. Esther exhales with relief. She seems to remember only now that she hadn't been breathing at all the whole time. Harkin can't help himself again. Well, if she doesn't become a good priestess. He looks at the girl appraisingly. At least she's beautiful. Harkin. Someday your language will cause a separate war. Dale completely ignores the comment. Let's move out, and everyone starts gathering right away. The column is moving forward again. The pace is noticeably falling. Now we have to adapt to children and the elderly. Esther runs between people. Encouraging. Helps. Make sure no one gets left behind. And Dale, constantly looking around. Forest, bushes, shadows. Once again the forest. Harkin notices. Why are you always looking around? There were 7 of them. No. Harkin blinks. 6. One ran away. A fun discovery. Harkin stops smiling immediately. And they live in packs. Then the others will come. Now it's really fun. Harkin starts to get nervous. We're far away, aren't we? No. Then, they're already here. The Dark Knight has another remarkable ability. When ordinary people feel the wind, he feels the killing intent. When ordinary people hear the noise of the forest, he can smell blood. Very useful. Very unpleasant. And now all the feelings are literally screaming. They're here. Dale deliberately speaks softly. Panicking won't help anyone right now. They are being imperceptibly rebuilt. Getting closer to each other. Tighter. Esther understands immediately. Something's going on. He tightens his grip on the symbol of his church. Night falls. The torches flare up, one by one. That's exactly what the enemy is waiting for. SSSK. A long tongue shoots out of the darkness, wraps the arm of a man with a torch. He doesn't even have time to understand anything. Dale's sword is already in the air. Squish! The tongue falls to the ground. A scream is heard from the forest. And then, dozens of red eyes open in the dark. Now it becomes clear. It wasn't a hunt. It was an ambush. Esther whispers softly. There are too many of them. Dale looks past the others. There, where the biggest one stands. The strongest one. The leader. He lowers his visor. A blue flame flashes in the eye sockets of the helmet. The moon is slowly rising over the forest. And the Dark Knight calmly says, "Come on, attack, while the night is still mine." There is one injustice. The Dark Knight doesn't seem to get weak during the day. And it doesn't get strong. The real power only turns on at night. Especially when the moon is barely shining. It turns out to be a very strange mechanic. By day you're just a tough guy in black armor. At night it's the personal nightmare of the entire forest. And now his work shift is just beginning. Dale calmly steps forward. Harkin is nervous. He's very nervous. Can you even handle it? The great one-eyed man looks twice as big as the others. Saliva drips. The eye is burning. The muzzle literally says, "The Dark Knight is on the menu today." Dale doesn't even think about it. I have to. That's why it's impossible not to respect him. He never says, "We will win." Because if there is no other way out, then there is no choice either. The Great One-Eyed had already met him in the game. A familiar opponent. Complicated, but passable. If Dale joins the fight, so you've already calculated the odds. Without any extra heroism. Without the desire to die beautifully. Harkin notices his calmness, and he exhales a little. What should I do? Live, and protect Esther. The best combat training. Briefly, it's clear. Without motivational speeches. Dale steps forward. He slowly raises his sword. The one-eyed man grins. And literally, this freak has such a nasty face that even smiling looks like a crime against nature. A few seconds. They just look at each other, and then they take off at the same time. The monster is the first to fly up. The tongue whistles like a whip. Shavaha. Dale responds instantly. The sword cuts through the air. It hits, but lack. The blade cuts into the tongue, and it gets stuck. It's a bad sign. Very bad. One eye twitches his tongue, with such force, that the tip of the sword just flies off somewhere into the forest. The sword died. F. Dale stares at the piece for a second. It's a pity. It wasn't bad. Without hysteria. No regrets. Throws away the rest of the blade. He takes out an axe. Round 2. The main problem of one-eyed people is language. The one-eyed's main weakness is everything else. Means, you just need to stop him from using his main weapon. Dale closes the distance. The axe flies up. Bang! The blade enters the shoulder. The monster manages to remove its head at the last moment. Lucky. Another 10 centimeters, and the chapter would end right now. The great one-eyed man jumps back sharply. Dale is right behind him, and it begins. The strangest chase. One huge monster. One half-dead knight. And they're both running through the woods like marathon runners. One eye is a little faster. But there is one problem. He gets tired. And Dale, no. Try to win a race against a man who doesn't need to breathe at all. The monster understands. It won't work that way. It turns sharply right in the jump. The perfect distance. The perfect angle. The mouth opens. The tongue shoots out like a spear. Bang. A hit. Dale's right hand is tightly bound. He's chopping with an axe. To no avail. The grip only tightens. The armor starts to crack. The metal creaks. The arm bends at such an angle that any normal person would have already lost consciousness. Fortunately, Dale has not been a normal person for a long time. Crunch. The arm comes off. Completely. It looks terrible from the outside. From Dale's side, this looks like a solution to the problem. The Great One-Eye is already celebrating his victory. A typical mistake of the final boss. I relaxed too soon. Dale calmly picks up a piece of his own armor, watching. The edge is sharp. Will fit. While the monster rejoices, the Dark Knight is already here. Bam. A piece of armor flies straight into the open mouth. Deep. Very deep. The monster chokes. It's falling. He starts rolling on the ground. Dale immediately falls on top of me. And it begins, the most barbaric scene. He takes a fist and begins to hammer a piece of metal deeper. Boom. Still. Boom. Still. Boom. Each blow literally pushes the armor through the monster's head. Blood is flying. In all directions. The monster gradually subsides. The only eye is slowly fading. Dale spits. What a hassle. That's his whole emotional reaction. Harkin is standing behind me. Esther is next to me. Both are silent, because they had just seen a man kill a huge monster with his own hand. More accurately, with his own severed hand. Even Harkin, who has seen enough of the war, now looks like he wants to reconsider his life decisions. They are. Do they always fight like that? Esther ceases to understand at all where the man ends and the monster begins. Dale looks at himself. The right arm is missing. The armor is crumpled. It's time to refuel. He plunges his glove into the carcass of the Great One-Eye. The red light flashes. The life force literally bursts out. And something happens that looks like a horror movie to ordinary people. Scarlet threads begin to stretch from the shoulder. They find the severed arm. They're pulling it up. They connect. Dice. Muscles. The armor. Everything is going back literally before our eyes. In a few seconds, as if nothing had happened. Honestly, this class can be forgiven for such abilities. The remaining one-eyed ones look at their new nightmare, and for the first time they understand that they weren't the hunter at all today. Dale calmly picks up the axe, and he goes forward. Monsters make the only right decision. Escape. When the main one falls, the whole pack breaks down. A few minutes of resistance, then panic. Then the forest abruptly empties. Harkin finally exhales. I've already said goodbye to my life, honestly. Almost everything. Only the dried up mummies of monsters remain on the ground. Dale had reaped the entire harvest of life force again. You can't get far without this class. Unfortunately, not all people survive a fight. 3 die. Esther is holding the funeral again, already in silence. Without further ado, such ceremonies are beginning to become all too familiar. Where did you come from? From Russell. Ah, from the north. 3 weeks of travel. A year. Harkin freezes. Wait a minute. A year? Where to go for 3 weeks? Dale calmly replies. I got lost, brother. How? How can you get lost on a single 3-week-long road? It's a talent. Special. Almost legendary. Harkin is already opening his mouth, but Dale silently raises his fist. All. The interrogation is over. Esther finishes the prayer. He immediately wipes his face instinctively, until the Dark Knight decided to help with the handkerchief again. Dale pretends not to notice. Finished? Yes. Then let's go. The smell of blood cannot be hidden for a long time. No one else attacks until dawn. Yes. And who will climb? What if a Dark Knight just walked through the forest, leaving behind a whole cemetery of mummies? Even monsters can draw conclusions. And finally, the forest ends. Golden fields open up before them, and after them, city. Huge walls, high towers, a real fortress. Irene, the main stage of the game, exactly 1 year. A year of wandering, the year of fighting monsters, a year of trying to figure out where the north is. And so, he finally gets there. If it weren't for my amazing ability to get lost out of the blue, I would have come about 11 months ago. Beggars appear along the way. After seeing Dale, they immediately back away. He really looks like he's handing out curses instead of sweets. Harkin is already going to chase them away. But Dale suddenly throws some coins to the children. Harkin catches a critical glitch. You. Now, did you give alms? The Dark Knight? Just like that. It doesn't happen that way. It happens. It's like seeing a dog eating grass. Actually, dogs are omnivorous. Harkin lost the argument before he even realized he was arguing. Then he explains at length about the gangs who will take the money anyway, about scammers, about the street. Dale is listening, but he doesn't regret it anyway, because I didn't do it for the sake of heroism. Simply, it seemed right, and sometimes that's enough. Finally, they come to the gates of Irina. 2 sleepy guards stand lazily at the entrance. They notice Dale, and in just a second they turn into the exemplary workers of the month. The spear is pointing at his throat. Stop! This is a service. I just want to come in. Documents. Documents? I've been running in the woods for a year. I have an axe at most. Dale does the only thing that has always worked in games. He takes out the money. He offers a bribe. And quite generous. The guards look at the coins, then at him, then look at the coins again, and their faces are distorted. Is this evil spirit also trying to bribe us? The plan failed. It turns out it's not a game anymore. To the dungeon immediately, call the priest. Dale looks at the city in silence. Here he is. The goal is a whole year long. It's just a few steps away, and it seems the first place he will visit in Irena will not be a hotel, and the prison cell.